That's much more horrible than what I had done, in the first third of Jaws. And I just didn't like it. It was too bloody, and I thought it was in bad taste, so I cut it out.
In 1974, a young director filmed the most terrifying scene of his career for the soon-to-be iconic movie, Jaws. During test screenings, the scene left audiences sick and fainting. Universal Studios stepped in and demanded it be cut. Now, 50 years later, behind-the-scenes photos and stories reveal the chaos, the ambition, and the blood-soaked drama that made Jaws a masterpiece, and why one shocking scene was too extreme, even for Hollywood. The story of Jaws began in 1973 with a stroke of luck. Producers Richard Zanuck and David Brown stumbled upon Peter Benchley's unpublished novel. Brown's wife, editor of Cosmopolitan, spotted a brief note in her magazine's book section. This could make a great movie. Intrigued, the producers devoured the manuscript overnight. By morning, they were convinced they had found something extraordinary. Without hesitation, they secured the film rights. Later, Brown admitted they hadn't considered the logistical nightmare of filming such a story. But excitement overpowered caution, and they dove headfirst into the project. Universal Studios backed their vision, purchasing the rights for $175,000 before the book was even published. It was a gamble that paid off when Jaws hit bookshelves in 1974, quickly becoming a bestseller and staying on the charts for nearly a year. The search for a director was challenging. Steven Spielberg, just 26 years old, had worked with Zanuck and Brown on the Sugarland Express. They believed he was perfect for Jaws. Spielberg, however, was hesitant. His earlier TV movie, Duel, also centered on a relentless predator, a truck, and he feared being typecast as a monster movie director. He even tried to quit, but Universal insisted he stay. Spielberg's youth and relative inexperience made the studio nervous, but the producers had faith in his vision. This decision would change Spielberg's life forever. Initially, Jaws had a modest $3.5 million budget and a 55-day shooting schedule. But as filming began, those numbers became laughably unrealistic. Spielberg's insistence on filming in the real Atlantic Ocean, rather than a controlled studio tank, turned production into chaos. The crew set up on Martha's Vineyard, a picturesque island in Massachusetts, but the ocean had other plans. Calm waters turned rough without warning, shifting boats out of position. Hours were wasted re-anchoring the 16 boats, only for the sun to move and ruin the lighting. Some days, Spielberg managed just 2 usable shots. The crew battled seasickness, relentless heat, and frustration. Local residents, initially excited by the Hollywood spectacle, grew hostile. One day, angry locals hurled fish guts at Spielberg's rented house. The mechanical shark, nicknamed Bruce after Spielberg's lawyer, was another disaster. It sank to the ocean floor during its first test. Salt water wreaked havoc on its hydraulics, causing constant breakdowns. Its rubber skin absorbed water, leaving it warped and unconvincing. Spielberg famously shouted, "I want to kill this shark." By July 1974, the production was 49 days behind schedule and $2 million over budget. Filming stretched into the fall, finally wrapping on October 6, 1974, after more than 150 grueling days. The budget had ballooned to $12 million, 3 times the original estimate. Spielberg later confessed that he feared the movie would end his career before it truly began. Behind the scenes, tempers flared. Robert Shaw, who played the grizzled fisherman Quint, clashed with Richard Dreyfuss, the young oceanographer Hooper. Shaw's intense method acting contrasted sharply with Dreyfuss's casual approach. Their off-screen animosity mirrored their characters' on-screen tension. Shaw's heavy drinking only escalated conflicts. He once fired a fire extinguisher at Dreyfuss, and, in another heated moment, grabbed him by the neck. Despite the friction, Shaw delivered one of the film's most iconic scenes, Quint's chilling monologue about the sinking of the USS Indianapolis. After an alcohol-fueled failed attempt, Shaw returned the next day and nailed it in a single take. Meanwhile, Dreyfuss struggled with self-doubt, often second-guessing his performances and fearing the movie would flop. Roy Scheider, who played Chief Brody, acted as a mediator on set, trying to keep the peace amidst the tension. The shark, originally intended to be the star of the movie, was rarely seen due to its mechanical issues. This limitation turned into Spielberg's greatest strength. Instead of showing the shark, he used point-of-view shots and clever visual cues, like yellow barrels, to suggest its presence. This less is more approach heightened suspense and forced audiences to rely on their imaginations. John Williams' haunting score, built on just 2 alternating notes, became the heartbeat of the film. When Spielberg first heard the theme, he laughed, thinking it was a joke. But Williams explained that the raw, relentless rhythm mirrored a shark's unstoppable nature. The music evolved with the film, sometimes slow and ominous, other times fast and chaotic, perfectly amplifying the tension. Williams created 47 variations of the theme, each tailored to a specific scene, cementing the score's legendary status. One of the most infamous deleted scenes was Alex Kintner's death. In the original cut, the 11-year-old's gruesome demise was shown in horrifying detail. A dummy filled with fake blood and organs was violently torn apart by the mechanical shark, complete with bone-crunching sound effects. Test audiences were horrified. Some fainted, others vomited. Universal feared the scene would push the film into an R rating, so Spielberg decided to cut it. The final version relied on suggestion and reaction, proving that sometimes, less truly, is more. The audience sees Alex's mother's reaction as she calls for her son and realizes he is gone forever. This focus on emotional impact rather than gore became a hallmark of Spielberg's approach. When Universal Pictures released Jaws in 1975, they redefined movie marketing. They spent $1.8 million, an unprecedented amount, on TV ads, saturating primetime slots with the iconic image of a shark looming under a swimmer and John Williams' chilling theme. Instead of a gradual release, Jaws opened in 464 theaters nationwide, creating a sense of urgency and event. The strategy worked. Jaws earned $7 million in its opening weekend, shattering records. Merchandise flooded the market, from shark tooth necklaces to t-shirts, and the novel soared in sales, creating a cultural phenomenon. By the end of its run, Jaws had earned $260 million in the U.S. alone, equivalent to $1.52 billion today, and over $470 million worldwide. This success proved that blockbuster films could dominate not only the box office, but also cultural conversation, setting the stage for the summer blockbuster era. Jaws didn't just break records. It changed Hollywood. It invented the summer blockbuster, proving that a high-concept film with massive marketing could dominate the box office. It inspired directors like George Lucas and James Cameron to dream bigger, leading to films like Star Wars and Jurassic Park. Spielberg's decision to focus on suspense over gore influenced countless filmmakers and cemented his reputation as a visionary. Nearly 5 decades later, Jaws remains a cinematic masterpiece, reminding us that great storytelling, fueled by ingenuity and determination, can turn chaos into legend. Its legacy endures not only as a thrilling movie, but as a cultural touchstone that redefined what Hollywood could achieve.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.